Hi everybody, it's Cameron Tudor here from West London Physio and Covent Garden Physio. Just doing a really short video for the MSK Partners Network on networks and on communicating within those networks. I suspect everybody who's watching this is dealing with the same challenges that I am, and that is dealing with a business that is closed. So we've closed both of our clinics. We've switched to online consults, which I'm sure many of you have, but there's no doubt that we've suffered a 90% loss in revenue, and it doesn't take an accounts whiz to recognise what that does to your bottom line and what that does to the sustainability of your business. I think the primary aim for everybody here is that in 1, 2, 3, 4 months, whatever time that may be, when we open up or have the opportunity to open up, that we have businesses that are still standing and can be opened. There are some headwinds in the way of that we all recognise, and those stakeholders that influence those headwinds are big entities, landlords, governments, councils. And the question is, how do we best influence those stakeholders most effectively? Well, there are two ways. One is you do this on an individual basis, sending letters to your MP, sending letters to your council, contacting your landlord. And then there's the approach of using a wider network, something like the MSK Partners Network, which I'm a part of. To influence those bigger stakeholders, we really need the power of the network to do that. And so the second question then becomes, well, how do you collectively increase the voice of the network? Well, the way that you do that is that every individual component of that network has to feed in, has to use their voice to amplify the voice of the network. I think as clinicians, we're really good at doing that at a local community level. We're great at it with patients. We're pretty good at it with consultants and GPs. We do a lot of that face-to-face stuff within our local bubble, within our local community. I think now calls for a different approach, and the approach needed is to be much broader, look at more channels through which we can influence. And specifically, we talk about social media. So what are if you're not used to engaging on social media, what are the things that you should look at? You should look at Twitter, you should look at Instagram, you should look at LinkedIn and Facebook. They're probably the main four. I might have forgotten some. And it's important to engage with those. What those networks will do is give you a platform from which you can then communicate your own expertise, your own concerns, your own stories, your own experiences. And when you communicate those on those networks, you're going to find that what you may feel is an individual problem that you're facing, you're going to find there are so many other individuals and so many other businesses that are having the same concerns and are seeing the same headwinds and suffering the same challenges, that you're going to find that those contributions you're making will get engagement. And that engagement across a network will build up a level of support and create a louder voice that will make its way towards those stakeholders, those bigger stakeholders in national government and in your local councils. So I really encourage you, if you haven't done that yet, it's not hard. Go on there, try and engage on those platforms, and I'm sure you will find that your voice will be amplified. I think it's really important for those who are in leadership positions, directors, employers, business owners, to, even if they've historically been uncomfortable doing this sort of thing, they've got to do it now. And I think we have a responsibility to our employees, to our patients, to do everything we can to make sure that we've got these sustainable, thriving businesses when we open up again. And also to give confidence to other practitioners, business owners who don't have as much support as perhaps some of us do, don't have as much access to information and guidance. So expressing some of your experiences and your personal stories can be a really helpful way of, in what is a pretty lonely, isolating time for many of us, it can be a really helpful way of making people feel that they're not alone. Don't underestimate the size of your voice. don't underestimate the scope of influence that you have, and make an effort to contribute rather than scroll. I hope that's been helpful, and see you soon.